everybody, welcome to episode 35 of the Inspired Knitting Podcast. I'm your host Bobby and I am coming to you from New Brunswick, Canada. Today is, I don't know actually, July 24th. I had to think about that for a minute. I would first like to start the podcast off by welcoming any new viewers who may be tuning in for the very first time. Welcome. And to all my returning viewers, welcome back. This is a podcast mostly about my knitting adventures, and sometimes there's some crocheting, and there is going to be some sewing in there today. So yeah, lots of fibery fun. So if that's your sort of thing, do tune in. So you can subscribe below to follow my podcast, and also you can hit the bell icon to get notified of any upcoming podcasts. So yeah. You can find me on Instagram as Inspired Knitting Podcast. You can also find me on Ravelry as X Country Girl 1986X. And we also have a group for the podcast over there as well. You can find the group as Inspired Knitting Podcast. So yeah, that's all the administrative stuff. If you wish to reach out to me, it's best to do so on Ravelry. You can do so on Instagram, although I'm not too sure that the messages get through all the time, but you can also reach out to me by my email at sweetcomfortdesigns@gmail.com. So all that good info is down below. So yeah. We are filming outside today. I've waited till a little later in the day to come outside just because we have been under some extreme heat. So yeah, it's been a little too hot to come out here, but I thought I would come outside and try to get another outdoor podcast in because I really love those, and I know you guys do too. So yeah, I found a nice shady spot here, so should be okay, except for the bugs. Hopefully they won't bother me too much. So anyways, yeah, it's been 2 weeks since I seen you guys last, and it's been pretty good. Besides the heat, which I think we are all suffering from right now. You guys know that I love the summer and I love the heat, but this has been a little too much. It has been quite hot here in the Maritimes, and yeah, not much of anything, and yeah, just a lot of staying in the shade or staying inside where it's nice and cool and keeping hydrated. Pretty much all we can really do, right? So yeah, there's been a lot of that happening. Besides that, it's been pretty quiet around here for the past couple weeks. Had an exciting time on, gosh, what day was it now? I think it was Thursday. I lose track of my days quite easily. I believe it was last Thursday. We went into Moncton and I got to spend some time with my bestie, Shelby. Hi, Shelby. So yeah, we went to our local mall, the Champlain Mall, and we got to spend a little time just walking around. Actually, we had lunch first with my boyfriend. We had lunch first, and then he kind of left us to our fun, and we browsed around for a little bit, did just a tiny bit of shopping, and then we sat down with some drinks and in the food court and just knitted away, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I look forward to doing that again. It is so nice to have somebody that shares your interests, like yarn and knitting and such. So yeah, it's really fun when that happens and you get to spend time with them and share the same like craft and hobby. It's just so much fun. So yeah, I love that. So that was kind of the highlight of my week. We have been Skyping a lot lately as well, so we've been doing like Skype and knitting at the same time. So we're actually going to be doing that later on today, so that's a lot of fun. I really am enjoying that. So that's been keeping me entertained, and I've been loving that, so that's been really great. Besides that though, I have gotten quite a bit of knitting time in. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on into it because I don't know how long my battery's gonna last. I didn't fully charge my phone before I started, so yeah. So I do have a finished object to share with you guys this week, and if you follow me on Instagram, you probably would have seen it already, and I cannot tell you how happy and excited I am about this. So last time I podcasted, I shared with you guys, sorry, there's like a horsefly flying around. I shared with you guys, I was doing the Geraniums or Geraniums. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Geraniums, but whatever. It is a pattern, a new pattern released by Lily from the Nordic Stitches. Lily is a designer, but she also has a really wonderful podcast as well, Nordic Stitches, here on YouTube. So if you do not know who Lily is, I highly recommend that you go over and check her out because she is lovely and she has the most beautiful designs. So yeah, do check her out. But she recently came out with this shawl design in memory of her grandmother who died of colon cancer. And $3 from each pattern, from each sale of this shawl goes to cancer research. So I really wanted to support the cause, but I also wanted the shawl as well because it is stunning. So this has been my work in progress for the past couple weeks. I have not put it down, literally. It has been hot, so I kind of wanted something that was light to work on regardless, but yeah, I just haven't been wanting to put it down. It's just so mindless and so much fun. So I'm going to back up a little bit. Hopefully I won't knock you guys over. Okay, so here it is. It is so beautiful. I just love it. Oh, it is wonderful, guys. So it is a triangular shawl. Actually, I don't know if it would be called, it is in the shape of a triangle. Just come back up closer to you guys. It is in a triangle shape, but it is also modular. Now, this is the first time, you guys are falling over on me. Okay, there. This is a modular shawl. This was the first time I had ever made one. And so it does start off in the center here. So this green part, you are doing a miter square. And then you pick up stitches to do this gorgeous lace part here in section B. Once you complete that, you come over here to section C and repeat the same thing. And then you come down here to this beautiful leaf motif, and you pick up the stitches all along here from section A, B, and C, and this would be section D. So you're picking up the stitches to do this beautiful leaf motif. So I'll just bring it in there closer so you guys can see it. And there's that pretty lace of this one. So yeah, super easy to do. And then to work the bottom section, once you get the leaf done, there's a couple options for you. You can either just do like a slip stitch down here and finish the border off and garter, or you can do whatever you want. Technically, I did like a 3-color version, but you could do like the center square. You could do it all in one color, or you could do the center square and just work like in this color. For myself, I wanted to add in a third color. So what I did was, rather than just doing the slip stitches, I did a center stitch here and did the eyelets just to create that pretty design, because the eyelets are down the side of the leaf here. So I continued that down. And then for the bottom part here, you can actually see the way Lily has it in her pattern. These are the slip stitches. So once I got to my darker color here, then I just stopped doing the eyelets and just did the slip stitches. So pretty much if you were to follow the pattern, you would probably have ended it, I think it's 14 garter ridges down. So I started to fade in the darker color, and I just went as far as I wanted to with it. So yeah, I love it. So I would highly recommend, if you do the pattern, do check out the tutorial video that Lily posted for the shawl. It's on her YouTube channel, Nordic Stitches. So I would recommend that you actually check it out and perhaps watch it first before you start it. Even though you might understand what the pattern's telling you to do, she just has some helpful tips in there and some different things that you can incorporate into your pattern. One of those things, and I did not know this until I got further down, was she actually says that you can pick up stitches from sections B, A, and C here to do like a couple rows of garter on top here, just to you know, just to fill that space in and make it look more structured and, you know, prettier. It's not necessary, but it's something that she just included in her tutorial video, and I really like that. I think it finishes the shawl off beautifully. So yeah, I would recommend that you check out that video. But yeah, it is so beautiful. It's a wonderful shawl, and as I said, it is totally mindless. The lace is not hard at all to do. The leaf motif is not hard to do at all. It is just so beautiful. Like, it's just so easy. And with the heat being the way it is, I've just been wanting something that's mindless to work on. Nothing hard, nothing that I really have to think about, just mindless. And this project was definitely perfect for that. So yeah, I did wash and block it. So yeah, I didn't block it out too aggressively. I did a little bit, but not too much. I just have to trim my ends. I already, I weave my ends in first, and then I wash and block, and then I snip them off. But yeah, oh my gosh, it is beautiful. So I'm going to go over the yarns again, just in case you didn't see last podcast. So for my green here, the center square, I used some leftovers that I had of Allison Barnes. I got this in her April Fibre Fix box, which the colorway was called Morning Mist. It's like a minty green. And then the main color here is Quants by Wrap and Turn Yarns. And then my purple here is Malabrigo in the Velvet Grapes colorway. So it is all fingering weight. And yeah, oh, you guys, I just love it. So if you, I have to fully update my project page for it, but I was trying to put down the amount of yardage that I've used for this. I had 36 grams of the Allison Barnes before I started, and I just have to weigh out my cake to show me how much I actually used of it. I haven't done that yet just because it escaped my mind. And I will do the same for the main color. This one's going to be a little hard because I still have, I finished before I stopped before I thought it was going to run out, because I decided, and I forgot to mention, I did like an I-cord bind off. And I know that takes like a lot more yarn to do. So I stopped somewhat early before my yarn was to run out, because I didn't want to run out. So I can still put a rough estimate of the yardage for that, but I do know that there is another ball of it hanging around from the same skein, because I had used it for a project before and I frogged it, so I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't a full skein that I started with, so yeah. But anyway, I'll try to put a rough estimate of what I used here. But regardless, here it is. I just love it. Highly recommend that you check the pattern out because it is beautiful and highly customizable too. I think you could definitely play with your colors or modify like I did here. Like it's just so beautiful. I love it. So I'm going to put it on and I'll see if I can actually keep it on for maybe a little bit of the podcast. I don't know, it's kind of hot. But yeah. Oh, you guys. So pretty. And you'll have to excuse me because I never know how to put these things on right. So anyways, I'll try to wear it for a little while. Okay, so that's the only finished object I have right now. So this has been, like I said, the thing I've mostly been working on. So, works in progress. Now I have started a couple new things. I haven't really been working on any of my other projects. My sweater, sadly, has not been touched just because it is way too hot. And that makes me a little sad because I really want to be working on that. But we're supposed to be having some cooler weather by tomorrow. So maybe I'll be able to pick it up this week and work on it. But anyways. So I have a couple new cast-ons just because I've been wanting to have projects that are more simple. So more stockinette or what have you, like just something mindless. So 2 of my new cast-ons are like that. So let me just get this untangled here. My first work in progress is a new cast-on, and I've been wanting to do this one for a little while. I'm just trying to get it untangled because I just kind of tossed it in the bag and now it's all in a mess. Just 1 second. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so I've been wanting to start this one for a little while, and I finally decided that it was time. So I was looking through some t-shirt patterns because Must Love Yarn, they are doing like a knit-along, a summer knit-along. So I think it's like anything summery. I don't know if it has to be cotton, but just as long as it's like a t-shirt or some summer knits, stuff like that. And it can be crochet too, I believe. So anyways, I decided that I wanted to join in on that. And I've been really wanting to knit a tee anyways. So I end up buying this beautiful Holst Garn Coast, which is 55% lamb's wool and 45% cotton. And they are sold in 50-gram balls, and it's 383 yards per ball. It is a fingering weight. So I bought this directly from Holst Garn online, and I was just trying it out. I've never had it before. There are mixed reviews about Holst Garn, so I still wanted to give it a shot because some people really, really love it. And yeah. So I'm trying it out. It is extremely soft. I really like it. And so far, what I have worked on here, it's been good. So fingers crossed. I think I'm really going to enjoy this yarn. So anyways, I have chosen to do Cullum, which is a t-shirt pattern by Isabell Kraemer. And it's a really beautiful tee. It has, it is sleeveless. It has this beautiful lace detail up on the yoke. It's a plain stockinette body, and then it has a little bit of lace at the bottom as well. So it's really, really pretty. So I casted this on yesterday, I was watching a movie and I just wanted something that was simple. So it looks rather weird right now. But yeah. So you start off at the shoulders. So I got one shoulder here. And then this is my back, I'm presuming, which I believe it is. It's all twisted here. And then we have another shoulder over here. And I'm doing a crappy job of showing this to you guys, but yeah. So that's pretty much all I have right now. You start by doing the shoulder shaping, and then I knit for a little bit here. And then I'll be on to the back part. So I'm working flat right now, but once I get to the underarm part, then it gets joined in the round. So I'm looking forward to that part. But yeah, it's a really beautifully written pattern. I have read through it and I'm really, really liking it. And yeah, I can't wait to get to the lace part because that looks pretty. But here is how the holst is working up. So it is a little bit holey, but it is a summer tee. And from what I've heard, as soon as you wash the holst yarn, it blooms. So I'm expecting this to come in just a little bit, but yeah. Cullum is weird with a what do you call it? A camisole or an undershirt regardless. So I think it'll be fine. I am knitting this for a friend. It's not for myself. I only have 4 balls of this, which I'm doing the second size in the pattern, which is 36-inch bust, I believe. And yeah, I have 4 balls of this, so I believe I'm going to have enough yarn to finish it. So yeah. I didn't want to do one for myself really anyways. I have my sweater, so, but yeah, I just wanted to knit the tee, and I thought I've really been wanting to try this yarn out, so yeah, I'm just doing it for a friend instead, which is totally fine with me because I get the pleasure of knitting it for her and using the yarn. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm loving this yarn, and I would recommend it. It's really, really soft. And yeah, the colorway is Spearmint. I never mentioned that. It's showing off a little bit more vibrant, like darker here. It's actually more of a lighter color in real life, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty anyways. So, the recommended needle that's in the pattern is a 3.5. I am using a 3.5. I did not do a gauge swatch for this project, just because I don't have needles, like circular needles that are smaller than a 3.5. So I'm just going to go with it. Hopefully it's going to work out. I know you should always gauge swatch, but I did not, so yeah, I don't follow the rules very often. So anyway, there's that one. That is Cullum by Isabell Kraemer. Maybe next time there will be more progress on it for you guys to see. But yes. So the next one I have to share with you is a sock. So the last time I podcasted, or one of the last few times I podcasted, I shared with you that I was making the Forever and Always socks, which is a pattern by Danny of Little Bobbins. I actually frogged it. I love the pattern. It has nothing to do with the pattern. It's just the yarn that I was using for it. It was some Lion Brand Heart and Soul. It's their sock yarn. It's not that I don't like it, but just for that pattern, I wasn't really liking it. I don't know why. It's got, like, the Forever and Always sock has a beautiful cable on it, and I just wasn't really liking the yarn for it. The yarn is a bit thinner on the, like, the fingering weight side, and a little more rougher than I wanted it to be. So I I did get a few, I think I got another repeat on it last week. And then I was sitting there and I was thinking about it, how much I was not liking it. And I thought, you know what, just cut your losses now, because you're not going to be enjoying this very much and probably won't work on it very much. So yeah, I frogged it. And the next day I was meeting with Shelby, so I decided that what better thing to start than just a plain vanilla sock. So that is what I did. So I am, just don't want to lose my needle here. I started this one and I've gotten that far on it. So yeah, I haven't worked on it a ton. I think I knit on it during one of our Skype chats and then at the mall that day, and I didn't get a ton done. I think when I went to the mall I got that much done, I think. So yeah, I got my little family tree on there. So yeah, it's beautiful. This yarn here is some Knit Pit Stroll Fingering. I can't remember what the colorway is. I don't remember now, but it's just like a taupey brown. And I am using, I actually have to pull the ball out here because I can't remember what it's called. Comfort by Sock and Wool. And I got this on my trip to PI. And the colorway number is 624, I'm presuming. I'm thinking that's the number. It's very, very pretty. It's a new to me yarn. I've never used it before, but I'm really, really enjoying it. It's nice and soft. It does have the feel of, say, a Regia or an Opal maybe, but yeah, it's just really pretty and really soft. That's not quite that green. It's more of a like a light, like a darker aqua maybe, but it is not that green. But anyways, yeah, that's how much I've gotten done on it so far. I'm knitting these on my 2.0 millimeters. And yeah, having a lot of fun with it. Cast it on 56 stitches. And yeah, just mostly using this as my car knitting or just when I need something plain and simple to work on. So yeah, when it gets done, it gets done. So really been enjoying that. Just trying to get it back in the cozy here. So there is that one. And then I have one more work in progress to share with you. And it is also a new cast on. So Tristan from the Girls in the Yarn Cafe. Hi, Tristan. Tristan recently come out with her newest design release, which is the Hyde Park Hat. And I just had to get it because it is so, so beautiful. I just absolutely loved it. Tristan and Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady, they are doing a joint knit along. So Tristan has come out with the Hyde Park Hat, and I think she's coming out with I think she just showed it. I don't know if they're released yet. She's come out with some beautiful socks, and her mother Chrissy, she's doing a shell design, and Kay has done a shell design, and she's now designing some fingerless mittens. So all these patterns, you can knit them and put them in the knit along, and I think it's if you you use Chrissy or Tristan's yarn, you get a double entry into the giveaway. Head over to their podcast and check it out for the right info, because I might have gotten that messed up a bit. But regardless, so yeah, I got Tristan's hat pattern, And this is what I've gotten done on it so far. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. I just love the cabling and the twisted stitches. I just love the twisted stitches. They are so beautiful. And it does have bobbles. And it has this beautiful, like, twisted cable thing here. It's just so pretty. So, yeah, loving this. Now the pattern is written for a fingering weight and a lace weight mohair to be held double-stranded together. So, or you could use a sport weight yarn to get gauge. So what I've done here is I'm using, I believe it's a sport weight yarn. Can't remember now. I'll have to check in a minute. But I believe it's a sport weight yarn, and I'm holding it doubled with a mohair. And I'm just loving it. I don't know if you guys could see that halo. I think you can. But isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. I love it. I am so in love with it. And I got my little ladybug on here. My stitch markers are mostly from Chilapa Cottage Designs. The lovely Sharon from Calgary, I believe it is. She has a shop on Etsy and sells these beautiful stitch markers. So yeah, I recommend you check her out. But yeah, so for this pattern, I am using my Knitter's Pride Zings, and I started off with a 3.5 and I'm now knitting in a 4, and I think it's going to be perfect for me. Like, I tried it on so far from what I can, and it's fitting me good. And I have a slightly bigger head, but it's working out good for me so far. But anyways, the yarn that I'm using is Drops Merino Extra Fine Mix, which is a super wash treated with extra fine merino wool. So here it is. And it's not really telling me what weight of yarn this is, so I'm not 100% sure. It could be a DK, or a sport, or a DK. I don't know. Anyways, that's what I'm using. The color number is 07. It's a pretty brown color. And this is the first time I've used the Drops Merino, and I really like it. It's nice and soft. Really am enjoying that. And I'm double stranding it with some Sirdar Kid Silk mohair. Isn't that so pretty? Oh my gosh. And I believe this one is in the taupe colorway. So yeah, I'm double stranding those two together and totally am loving knitting this. I think I casted this on 2 days ago, I think. And I've gotten that far with it, which it is quite a bit of knitting, I suppose, but yeah, I was hoping to have it done. Didn't happen. I was watching a movie earlier with my boyfriend, and I managed to knit that much of it, so yeah, it's coming along. I honestly, sorry, the video cut out. I honestly don't think that I can give this one away. I love it too much. So yeah, that is Hyde Park by Tristan Molina, and it is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. So do check out their podcast, and do head over to Kay's channel as well. She is the Crazy Sock Lady here on YouTube. They both have wonderful podcasts, and again, you can find out more information on their knit along as well. So yeah, there's that one. And that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. I don't even think I worked on anything else. This was pretty much my main focus. It's, like I said, pretty much all I wanted to work on, so I did. So yeah, I'm not stressing out anymore about my other projects I have on the go. I'm just taking this philosophy that if I'm not enjoying it, I'm I'm just going to set it aside, and if it needs to be frogged, it will be frogged. One of the things, I think I have about 6 active things right now that I'm working on. And there's only one other one that I'm considering on frogging. And it is my Suburban Wrap by Joji Locatelli. I love the pattern, but it is, again, my yarn choices for it. Now, 2 of the colors that I'm using, I can't remember who they're by. Barnyard Knits. That's it. It's a pretty green color, and then there's like a pink speckly color in there. I think that I want to frog it because I put like the taupey green that you saw on my, or taupey brown that you saw on the cuff of my sock. That's actually the same yarn that I'm using for the Suburban, and I had the balls sitting beside each other before I casted it on, and I thought that I was going to like it, that it looked nice, but now that I'm knitting it, I'm just not digging it. Like, I'm not liking it much at all. So, yeah. I think that I'm going to frog it because I've recently acquired some new yarn, and I think I have a better yarn combination, like color combination for it. So it's just on the back burner for right now, but I'm pretty sure that I am going to frog it back. I'm not that far along. I didn't even get to the first lace repeat of it. So, yeah, that's the bigger lace chunk. Yeah, I'm just going to frog it and recast it on whenever I feel like, yeah. So anyways, that's the state of my current projects. I don't think I'm going to frog anything else. It's just that I just needed something simple, and as I said, my sweater's just a little too warm and bulky to be working with right now. So, yeah. Anyways, that's that. Okay, flies. So the other thing that I'm going to share with you now is a little bit of sewing, and then I have some stash acquisitions because I got a couple shipments in, and I'm super, super excited about them. So yeah, I'll show you the sewing first because that's stuff I've made. So, yay! I am so excited and stoked about this, you guys. So, the lovely Shelby is the one that inspired me to do this. I wanted to do it regardless, but she kind of helped push me in the right direction. So, Shelby really loves the look of the canvas bags, and so do I. I've been wanting to get one of them. I love the Fringe Field Company bags, but it's kind of hard for me to justify spending $70 on the bag. I'm sure it's totally worth it, but yeah, it's just a tiny bit hard to justify. So anyways, I decided that I was going to check out some local resources and see about getting some canvas and making one for myself. So I did. I went to Michael's a couple weeks back, and they actually had some canvas. So I figured that's a great way to practice, just because I have been sewing for a while, but yeah, I still don't feel that what I make is exactly how I would like it to come out. So I don't want to go to, say, Fabricville and buy these beautiful prints and pay a high dollar and it doesn't quite turn out the way I want it to. So anyways, sidebar. I went to Michael's, picked up 2 things of canvas. They're 1 yard each, and I think it was like $14 or $15 a yard. And came home and I made 2 project bags. So here's the first one, and it is quite big, as you can see. So I managed to get 2 bags. Both mine and Shelby's turned out being the same size. So pretty much I was able to divide the fabric in half, and by doing so it gave me and her both the size of bag. So this is definitely a sweater size, and it's exactly what I needed because I needed one for my sweater, although it's not in here right now. But yeah, I've been using it this past week for my shawl, and it works beautifully. I love it. So I just have some ribbon in here, and yeah, works beautifully. I use Arndt. I still don't know how to pronounce her name correctly. I will post it below. She has a wonderful YouTube channel, and I used her drawstring bag tutorial to do this. So it is super simple and easy to do. And she also has the squishy bag tutorial as well, which is a zippered bag, project bag. So yeah, I didn't use her measurements, but I just went off of the video on how it was done and made my own size. So it is fully lined. It doesn't have no seams. And yeah, I just used a plain white, or not white, but cream linen inside. And yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. For Shelby's, hers is identical to mine on the outside, but the inside I used like a brown fabric, which had like some leaves in it, like lighter leaves in it. So yeah, that's the only difference. But yes, it turned out beautifully, and I love them. I just did all one color. I didn't bother doing like a contrasting bottom or anything, and it turned out wonderful. So I was happy that I was able to get 2 bags of this size out of 1 yard of fabric. So I have another fabric as well, the other canvas that I got, and it's like a black and white chevron. So it's been a little bit too hot for me to pull out my sewing machine and work on anything. So yeah, maybe by next podcast or so you will see those, but I plan on doing the same thing. I'm just going to split the fabric in half and make 2 more project bags this size, and one's mine and the other one's being gifted to Shelby. So yeah, I also acquired a new pin. It's from Madeline Tosh, so I'm excited about that. This is officially my first what do you call it, pin? Yeah, I'm totally falling down that rabbit hole, but yeah. I put it on my new bag here. I thought it was quite fitting, so there's that one. And then while I had my sewing machine out, I decided that I was going to make another drawstring bag, because they are so simple, guys. And I wanted another bag to, like a sock size bag. So I ended up using some of my fabrics I got from Fabricville, just because I felt that it was going to be okay. I wasn't going to hoard it anymore. So I came up with this bag. So this one I did do a contrasting bottom, and I just did like a simple top stitch, nothing fancy. This one's got the teacups and the teapots. I really, really love this print. It's so pretty. So for this one, I decided, since I did the contrast bottom, that I was going to do the top part here contrasted as well. And I did this for the lining. So all these prints here all came in the scrap bag that I got from Fabricville. So I just used those fabrics and made a nice little project bag. So I have some fabric cut out to do 3 more bags of this size. Whether they're going to have the contrast, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think so. So yeah, it's fun. I have a new sock sack, so I'm liking it. And I'm just using ribbon again for my drawstrings. So yeah, loving that one as well. This has been housing my Hyde Park hat actually right now. So it is comfortably fitting my ball of Sport or DK weight yarn with the mohair and the hat, and it's still got like lots of room, as you can tell. So loving it. So I should have more of those coming soon as well. So that's all I did for sewing. I have some stash enhancement to share with you, and it's super exciting. So let me just get it here for you. So I was a little bit bad the past couple weeks, but it's a lot of fun. I ended up getting, or making an order, I should say, with the Wool Warehouse, which is in the UK. And I wanted to try some of the drops yarn that I'm using in the Hyde Park Hat. I wanted to try it because Kay from the Bakery Bears, her and Dan have been using it a lot in their knitting lately, and they highly recommend it. So I was like, I really want to try some. I have used drops in the past, but I never used the Alaska or the fine merino, and I really wanted to try them out. So I went online and I saw that the Wool Warehouse sold it, and I decided that I was gonna try some. So I made an order. So first off in the order, I got myself a pair of Knit Pro Zings in a 2mm. I do want to get the set of Zing DPNs, but for right now, I'm just getting myself a 2mm because I wanted another sock set. So I got those. And I got some pretty yarn. So I got the Drops Fine Merino that I shared with you from my Hyde Park Hat. And then I got myself some Drops Alaska Mix, which is, let me see here. I believe this is a worsted weight yarn. It's in yarn group C, so whatever that means. The Fine Merino is Drops group B, so if you know what that is, then I presume that's the weight of yarn. So anyways, this one is in color 49, which is just this beautiful brown color. And I just realized this. I didn't realize it before. Oh no, they are two different colors actually. Never mind. This is color number 49, which is a light brown. And this one is more of a chocolatey brown, and it's color number 55. So I got these to make a hat, and I'm going to do just a color work hat. I don't know which one yet, but I got a lighter color and a darker color. So I thought those two would look nice together. It's going to be a subtle contrast, but that's okay. It's what I like. So I'm going to be putting those aside for a future color work project. I'll just set those there. And then I ended up getting, and I'm really excited about this, I got some West Yorkshire spinners, and this is their fleece 100% Wensleydale gems. Oh my gosh. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. I just love it. And it's got this beautiful halo on it. It is a lot softer than I thought it would be. You can tell it's a rustic wool, but it's still got this beautiful softness to it. I love it. So this one here is 100% British wool, 244 yards of what I'm presuming is a DK weight. Not 100% sure again. Really sorry about that. This is the amber colorway in color number 342. So you can see it there. Oh, it's just so pretty. And that is pretty true to color. So I have no idea what this is going to be yet. It's probably going to be a hat or maybe some mittens, fingerless mittens. I'm not quite sure yet. So yeah, I'm just going to hoard it for the time being because it is just so beautiful. But yeah, I want to get some more of this. This is so pretty. So there's that one. And then I picked up a ball of Regia sock yarn. This is the Arne and Carlos. design line. And this is in color number 03656. And if you go on the website, it actually tells you what the colorway name is. I just can't remember. Maybe it's winter. I can't remember. But very, very pretty. I love it. And then I got one more thing from there. And it is Serdar Snuggly pattern cake, sorry. And this one is 150 gram ball, which is 545 yards, which is a 70% acrylic yarn, 30% nylon. And it's in shade number 751, which is whites and blues. So it is a gradient. Now that center color is looking minty green, and it's not, it's white. It's just my camera being funny, of course. But yeah, I saw this and it looked really pretty, so I thought I would just get one ball of it just to try it out. What I'm planning on making with this is, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a really beautiful crocheted blanket. It's got like some cluster stitches, and then some sections are in double crochet. So essentially it's worked from the center and worked out kind of like a granny square, but it's not a granny square. It's just so pretty. I wish I could remember the name. I think it's it has pineapple in it. I do remember that. But yeah, I just saw that pattern. It's a free crochet tutorial here on YouTube, and I saw it and I was like, wow, that's so pretty. So I think this yarn will be perfect for it. So yeah, I don't know how much or how big the blanket will be with just this cake. So if I don't like the size of it, then I can always just order another one. But yeah, totally love that. So I had to get it. So there's that one. And now I'm going to set this aside and pull out the next part here. So my next stash acquisition is some Madeline Tosh. Yes, Shelby, don't laugh at me. It is Madeline Tosh. So, yeah, I love Madeline Tosh yarns. I always have. And I noticed that Hohi Locatelli, she recently shared this yarn in some of her previous journals. And her new sock pattern as well, it's done in a sport weight or a DK weight. They are done with this exact yarn. So this is the Madeline Tosh work sock. And it is labeled as a fingering weight yarn, but it is definitely more like a DK weight. And it's got 75% merino wool, 25% nylon. It actually is labeled as a sport weight here though. Okay, it's labeled as a sport weight, 400 yards of yarn. And I got the Raise colorway. There you go. And I did get 2 of them. Oh my gosh, this is just so beautiful. I love it. I had a hard time picking the colorway. I almost went for this beautiful mustardy color, and then there was this rust color, but I eventually just settled on this one because look at that, guys. That is just so beautiful. Oh, I just love that. So I did get 2 of them. I wanted to buy a sweater's quantity in this, but I did not yet because I'm still struggling on which sweater I want to knit. I want to knit the Tenya, and I also want to knit the Boxy by Hohi Locatelli. It's the pink one that has the lace that goes down the side. I really want to knit that as well, so I can't quite decide on which one I would want first, so I decided to wait. So these 2 here are going to be a shawl, and I do have a shawl in mind. It is the Dole Right shawl, and I can't remember which designer that is by, and I don't want to say it because I might mess it up, but if you search it on Ravelry, it's the Dolrite shawl. So it's knit in a DK weight yarn, and you approximately needs like 700 yards of it. So I got 800 yards of yarn here, so I think I should be fine. So yeah, that is that. I have been wanting to cast that shawl on, especially now that I have this one off my needles, but I have another stash acquisition that I'm going to share with you next, and that's the only reason why I haven't casted it on, because I'm struggling on which one I want to do first. So let me just get this back in the bag here, and I will show you. So I ended up making an order with MinuteCravings. And I can't remember if I shared this with you guys in the last podcast. I might have, actually. Okay, if I did, I'm sorry. I'll just show you it quick, though. It's these 3 colors. And it is Velvet Plum, Tapas Bar, which is the middle one, and Harvest. And it is a fingering, they are all fingering weight yarns. MinuteCravings. Love it. So I'm pretty sure I did share this with you guys now that I'm thinking about it. But regardless, I saw these. She had these 2 colors and a turquoise together as a set, a shawl set on her Etsy site. And then I ended up seeing this color and I was like, oh, I want those 3 together. So I just ordered them separately, and yeah, I think I'm gonna love it. So this is going to be a 3-color shawl, and I got A Girl's Best Friend, which I believe is by Isabell Kraemer. Sorry if it's not, but it's a very beautiful 3-color shawl, so I think I want to cast that on, and if I do, it's going to be in these colors. So yeah, I don't know which shawl I want to do first, so I'm kind of just giving it a few days to really think about it, but I'm gravitating to this one because it's so beautiful. But yeah, there's that. And then this one I definitely know is new, and it's the last of it, I promise. I made an order with Kelly, I think it is, from Lay Family Yarns, and I have been seeing her yarns all over YouTube, and oh my gosh, it is just so beautiful. So I just love her colors, like her colorways. They're just so beautiful. And yeah, I just wanted to have some. So I made an order. And I picked up 2 beautiful skeins. So the first one I'm going to share with you is Buttercup. And it is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it is 100 grams, which is 425 yards. And here it is. Oh my gosh, isn't that beautiful? I just love it. Sorry guys. It's just so pretty. So it's like a cream color, and there is some beautiful goldy yellows in here. And there's some like darky peach color, corally colors. Oh, it's just so beautiful. I love it. So my thought process for this is I'm going to be using this yarn for the Forever and Always socks by Danny of Little Bobbins. I think it'll be beautiful and so pretty. Yeah, and I just realized there's some like green in there too. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh. So pretty. So I think those are going to be socks. And then I really love this one. Now I don't have a project in mind for it yet, but I do know it will have to be for a shawl. So this one is Rose Garden, and it is an 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. 100 grams, 400 meters. And here it is. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. Kelly has such beautiful yarns. I just love it. Look at those speckles. Oh, that is just too beautiful. So yeah, like I said, I have no idea what it's going to be, but I just had to have it. It's too pretty. There's her beautiful label. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this has got cashmere in it and it is too beautiful for socks, so it's going to have to be a shawl. So yeah, I will put that in my stash and we'll see where that goes. And then I got this really cute little bag here. I didn't even know it was in the package, which, by the way guys, look at this beautiful shipping bag. It's just as beautiful as the yarn. Oh my gosh, it's just so beautiful. This is from the UK. Kelly is in the UK, and I think it took like a week and a half to get here to Canada. Totally amazing. Love it. So anyways, I got this cute little bag. Just let me set this down here. And I didn't realize it was there at first, but she sent me some minis. So I got these two sweet little minis here. So this one's like a beautiful yellowy color, and then this one's like mauves and browns. Oops, sorry. And some corals. There's a little bit of white. Oh, so pretty. So thank you, Kelly. I love those. There's that. And she also sent along what looks to be a very yummy tea. Now I had to put this away so I didn't make it, but it's Twinings cranberry and raspberry tea by appointment to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Isn't that awesome? Oh my gosh. So I cannot wait to try this. This looks really good. So it is of course going to be an iced tea. It is it sounds like a fine leaf tea, but it is in a tea bag. I can feel it. So I'll probably be making this into iced tea. I think it's going to be so good. So thank you again, Kelly, so much. I don't even think she's watching this, but anyways, thank you if you are. So yes, highly recommend you head over to her website and check her out. I think she has a website, or it could have been Etsy. Just try to check out Lay Family Yarns. You will not regret it. She has many beautiful colorways. I did order one of her enamel pins as well, but they are on pre-order right now, so I'm not quite sure when it's coming, but I do have one coming soon, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, as you can see, I have been bad, but I am not feeling guilty about it. I love it. So yeah, that's all. So that's all I have for stash acquisitions, and that's pretty much all I have for this week. So yeah, I don't know if I'll see you guys next week. We'll see how it goes. But if I don't see you next week, I will see you guys again in 2 weeks. So I hope you guys are going to keep cool, or at least try to keep cool. And I hope you can get some crafting done, because I know when it's so hot, you kind of don't want to work on stuff. But working on the hat has been a little hard just because it's got the mohair, so it makes your hands kind of icky. But yeah, I've been working on it just because it's been so enjoyable. But yeah, I hope you guys can get some crafting time in with it being so hot. And yeah, try to stay cool. I will see you guys in a week or two. So until then, happy knitting. Love you guys. Bye.